MotoAmerica on BN Sports is presented by Dunlop and the all-new Sport Max Q3 Plus. Now you don't have to sacrifice mileage to get top performance. Dunlop Q3 Plus. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Welcome back to Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia. A good look at a turn 5 down the S's. Famous part of this Road Atlanta racetrack, built in 1969. Just over 2.5 miles. Greet the racers here. And Jason Pridmore, we're getting ready for the Supersport Superstock 600 race. And this one promises to be a cracker.
It's going to be great. I think we're getting some new contenders involved in the series. And like I was talking about just before, Valentine was talking to me about how he feels like he can run a race pace. This morning I watched him do a long run during his qualifying session where he ran the fastest lap in qualifying for pole position. He also did a bit of a long run, and he was consistently, Greg, in the low 28s.
Here's a look at the starting grid. Valentine to Bees, 127.917, the fastest rider for Polk, Garrett Gerloff, and J.D. Beach on those Yamahas. And then Benny Solis on the Honda ahead of class rookie Brandon Posh, Nick McFadden in 6th spot on this grid. And you can see the distinction in the colors of those numbers. That blue number of Daytona Anderson indicates that he is a Supersport rider. The red with the yellow is Superstock 600. Jason Aguilar, JC Camacho in the mix. Boy, a lot of talent. Michael Gilbert back in action on the 55 machine in 11th spot. So a lot of talent fills out this field.
All the way back, Anthony Mazziato, another one of our KTM kids that stepped up. Shane Richardson, all the way from New Zealand. Rafael Silva, Fraden Orr, Joseph Pionato, and Brandon Cleland. All these guys are kind of new to our series this year, which is going to be great. All the way, Jody Berry didn't even ride till this morning. Had some problems with some things technically on his bike. Caroline Olsen, Ryan Christensen, Ashton Yates, Gage Reese were all part, as well as Andrew Lee, were all part of our last chance qualifiers to get our final 5 grid spots filled. So got a full grid, Greg. It's in the racing promises to be really close and tight as it always is here.
Let's take a look at the weather right now. 90 degrees on the track. The outside temperature, 84 degrees with almost 60% humidity. And it's a bit of a light breeze. And we can tell you right now that it looks like Caroline Olsen, one of the fan favorites who qualified in 20th, she is still in pit lane and not participating in this warm-up lap. So we'll see if she's able to at least start from pit lane. So let's take a look. As the riders start to grid up, let's take a look at the Kawasaki keys to the race, Jason.
Yeah, well, I think looking at DeBees as he continues his strong pace this weekend, we saw him at COTA be able to run a very fast lap, but he couldn't sustain it over race distance. I have a little bit different feeling about that here at Road Atlanta. I think he's going to be closer than he was at COTA, and it was great to hear him make a comment earlier that he felt that he needed to work on himself and not the bike. That crew he's got down there have been amazing in getting this thing together. I think the next thing, Yamaha, new bike, new track. These guys are going to be going to a bunch of new tracks. Let's see if they can get that new bike going. Third thing, we got a new breed of Superstock contenders we're going to be keeping an eye on. Craig, it's up to you here to get us started.
All right, so here we go. The red lights are going to go on, and then we're going to have race action underway as soon as they go off. The hammer's dropped, and we're on our way to turn 1, and it looks like a good start from Garrett Gerloff, the number 1 plate, as J.D. Beach also gets off to a good one. He's going to sneak up the inside. No, it's going to be Gerloff, DeBees, and J.D. Beach with a Honda
Benny Solis
right behind him.
And we talked to Benny just before the start. He wants to get off, and Brandon Posh, great start for him up in 5th. We look at Connor Blevins, Daytona Anderson in that little bit of group there, but look who's leading, Greg.
Not messing around.
He got right to the front, did DeBees.
Not messing around is Valentine DeBees as he takes the point. So the number 53 machine on the M4 X-Star Suzuki, that's a GSXR 600, the same one you can buy off the showroom floor, lightly modified, is leading the way from a pair of Monster Energy Yamaha YES Graves Yamahas in Garrett Gerloff. Now, Garrett Gerloff, man, he's looking pretty good this week.
Yeah, the big thing is that you're going to have to watch is that how he gets out of this corner. You can see Valentine opens up. See how that big exit he gets on that Suzuki? He has to go all the way back to first gear, as do all these guys. They're all going back to first gear there, Greg. But did you see the drive he got out of there? He opened up the entry just a little bit. Garrett was right behind him turning in. But Valentine's going to hold him off all the way down this back straightaway.
Here comes that 2017 brand new Yamaha R6. As they make their way in the 10A, 10B section, Valentine DeBees still holding on to that number 1 spot. On that back straightaway, we can see the Honda got yarded a little bit. And that is what happens on an aging motorcycle of Benny Solis on that Team H35. But it's the top 3 that we've seen time and time again in this class. Now, Jason, I think Valentine DeBees has definitely made a step forward in the offseason, especially with that M4 X-Star Suzuki team. They really seem to have come to this season loaded and ready to go.
A long way. And how about this kid, Brandon Posh, our KTM 390 Cup champion from last year, running 5th early in this race, getting tons of experience. But yes, it's back up to these 3. You know, I noticed at the Coda test, Valentine had changed something. You could tell he was working on some things with his riding. And you're exactly right, Greg. He's worked on some things during the offseason. Obviously, his fitness has never been in question. He rides hard all the way to the end, but he's out there fighting a solo battle here against 2 factory Yamahas. And that team has done an incredible job making this bike better and continuing to get it to evolve over the years. But this is the spot where I noticed, I was out here the other day, ladies and gentlemen, right in turn 7, and you watch how he gets this Suzuki turn and fires it off in this corner, and he can just pull a little bit of a gap on those guys. You can see it in the acceleration.
A little bit of a wheel spin. Interesting first sector, though, of this racetrack. Road Atlanta is divided up into 3 different sectors, which we have times that we can see split times during practice and qualifying and in the race. JD Beach seems to be suffering a little bit as now there's a pass for the lead. So down into turn 10A goes the number 1 plate, Garrett Gerloff. He'll take over the number 1 spot. Now we're going to see how exactly the race setup for Valentine DeBees is going.
And this is what I'm interested in, because the lap times he can run on his own is he's going to have a look underneath. Not going to be able to, he is going to go.
Oh, Garrett Gerloff turns in, and Valentine has to go over the curbing. So that was a bit of a surprise for Gerloff as Valentine was there. Boy, that was a risky move, and all the while, here comes JD Beach.
And that's going to help JD, but this is the spot where Valentine is so fast at the top of this hill. You can see he drives it up this hill. Is he going to be able to go underneath Garrett? Does he get up to the top? He certainly is.
That is a risky move. And you think with someone who's only got a couple races here at Road Atlanta, Valentine DeBees able to make that move. Bit of a surprise for Garrett Gerloff. So now again, look at JD Beach in this particular section. It looks like he's dropping off a little bit. He's able to make up some time, but there's no question that JD's going to go back after this race, talk to the crew, and they got to figure that first sector out. It's not helping him at all.
I wish I could express to people how tight it is up there where Valentine just made that pass. And the speed these guys are going, the commitment it takes
and the blind,
to make that
can't
pass.
see it. You can't see where you're going.
Can't see where you're going. It's a place where a lot of people tip over on the front brake there. He's got so much confidence, and you can see that first split, second split now. First split there, he went 34.5, which is the fastest, to a 34.9, 35.0 for the Yamaha. So you're exactly right. Both the Yamahas are struggling a little bit in that very beginning section, and that was the one thing that they changed on the 2017 R6s, I believe, Greg, is the front ends on these bikes, the forks and things. So, so that's going to be something these guys are going to get to be able to work out a little bit. But all through these little tight technical sections, we're coming up over the top of the hill. This would be back to first gear again. This is a super steep downhill, and he's just able to fire this bike out of that last corner. And lead going up through turn 1 is his biggest advantage.
He's looking over his shoulder, taking a look back. No rearview mirrors on these bikes. Jason, was that never a good idea for you, checking back?
Yeah, you know, we always taught, all of us have been told to never look back. Who's this? We've got somebody that's pulled off. Can't get a read on who that is, Greg, but yeah, looking back, we always want to try to, there's Joseph Giannato. Okay, yeah, we saw him. I've been watching him. He's actually been riding really well, too, this year, and it's a shame to see him pulled off. But, yeah, getting back to the looking back thing, I used to always get scolded for that. But
if it's working for him.
The funny thing is he's looking back right as he comes on the front straightaway where he gets to go by his pit board. But what he's doing is he's trying to see if he puts his head down in certain segments, and then he wants to see if he's pulled away, and he might be able to do that before he gets back to his pit board.
This is another one of those sections right here where he comes out of here and he might take a peek over his shoulder. He keeps trying to check it. Yep, there he goes. A nice look over his shoulder to see what kind of drive he's getting versus those Yamahas. Plus, I also think that maybe if he sees Garrett Gerloff right on his rear fender, that he knows that the Yamaha's got the ability to draft and pass. So here goes Gerloff again, down into turn number 10. Gerloff's going to take that inside line. Valentine just lets off the brake, sticks his leg out. I can't believe he got that turn.
Yeah, no, that's what he's been doing. That Suzuki's been so agile, and he could put it anywhere. Like, literally, he could put that motorcycle anywhere he wants, and it's been evident by the fact that he didn't need to turn one off to start. He was able to make a move going up the hill, and he's done that twice. And now you've seen him go down the back straightaway and do the exact same thing.
The question is, how hard is he working these Dunlop tires? Now, Jason, I had a chance to talk to Garrett Gerloff earlier today, and we talked about Valentine DeBees and talked about what happened at Coda. As we take a look at the H35 machine, there's Benny Solis right there on that Honda. That is an American Honda approved effort, no question about it, as he continues to hold on to 4th spot. Benny Solis now just about 4.5, 5 seconds adrift of this lead group. and he's battling with Brandon Posh. Posh, you mentioned, he's a class rookie, and he went from the RC Cup 390 class straight into Supersport. A lot of people thought that the Superstock 600 class, which doesn't have as much adjustment available, say, to the Superstock 600, might be a better move. But that team, M4, the 22 Project Suzuki, that's the name of that team. Of course, teammates with Valentine DeBees on the M4 X-Star Suzuki team. A lot thought maybe it's a little bit too much, but Posh is adjusting perfect.
He's an intelligent young man who has, as they go down, and you can see Valentine just let that break off. There's no way it's going to happen there for Garrett, but Brandon's a very smart kid, and it's great that he's getting a race with Benny right now, and he'll be able to make improvements. He's made improvements since yesterday, doing a great job on that Suzuki as well. As this looks like a battle right now where you see number 95 back there is a little sneaky to me. I think I can see JD's bike getting really loose as they come onto the front straightaway. But I think JD's going to sit there and watch a little bit. None of these guys are getting away. They're all doing mid-28s, 28.6s, and 28.7s. But this is where Garrett last time had a fast split, so maybe he's learning something. This is coming down the hill. This was at the end of our first lap or second lap where Valentine was going to have a little look. He got inside on that curving.
And he did. That rear wheel just almost looked like it dropped off.
But this is where he made the pass at the top of the hill. That's an incredible pass.
Incredible.
Yep, really, really hard to do that up there. That's when you know you have a lot of confidence in your motorcycle.
Taking a look at some of these amazing pictures being provided by our BN Sports crew. One of the things I noticed, Jason, is that taking a look at Valentine's front tire, front wheel, there's a lot of bumps here at Road Atlanta. And when you're on the razor edge that these riders are on, does it ever concern you when you're feeling that front end really just kind of bouncing over those bumps?
Well, that's what you work on, and you get to a point where you can't avoid them. I hear so many people say, oh, there's a bump here, there's a bump there. If it's where you need to be, you need to start to work on, work with your crew chief hand in hand and say, look, these are something that are unavoidable that I need to work on. I need to make my bike as good as it can. And you can see his bike, Greg, looks incredibly good under braking to me, like under heavy braking.
Yeah.
It doesn't move around a lot. Valentine doesn't back the thing in everywhere. He rides very wheels in line, just does his thing. And as I say that, of course, he gets the thing back in the opposite direction there. But he's just a very smooth rider. And it almost seems like the more smoothed out he's got, the faster he's got. Because when I go out and watch these sessions, not only is he usually one of the first guys out onto the track, he's usually like ripping off the fast lap time within the first 2 or 3 laps of the session.
And one rider who was in trouble early on didn't actually make the grid, number 43, Caroline Olson on the Mean Motorsports R6. Hannah, do you have more on what's going on with Caroline?
Yeah, I just spoke briefly to her, and she had a bit of a tip over this morning, so they're not really quite sure what the issue is with the bike. They're still trying to get it sorted, but in the meantime, really glad that she's okay, and hopefully they can get it sorted before tomorrow's race.
Thank you, Hannah. Yeah, that's a tough way to start. When you crash in morning warm-up, or in this case qualifying for this group of riders, it puts a lot of pressure on the crew, and I know they worked really hard on trying to get that bike together. Did Sean and a bunch of the guys from Mean Motorsports, but at least like you said, she's safe. That's good. So we get back to the race in the front here. Valentine's pulling away just a little bit, Greg.
He certainly is, and Valentine also has the fastest lap of the race, so 128.596. And last time by a 128.6, so he's very consistent right now with those lap times that he's able to produce. Also, JD Beach, although JD has lost touch, at times, he's still setting incredible lap times. He was the second fastest rider on the racetrack at a 128.646. So literally only about 100th of a second behind Valentine's time.
Yeah, told you he's a bit sneaky, is JD. He's just kind of sitting back there, and they're not really getting away from him, and they're still running in the 28 ranges, which is very, very fast. And looking back here a little bit further, there's Benny Solis, Brandon Posh, and Nick McFadden has now caught him. We've lost Xavier Zayat. Xavier Zayat was right on the back of this guy here, Nick McFadden, who also had a crash this morning. It looks like we might have a red flag, Greg, and I didn't see Xavier go through. So,
Bike down on track.
I saw, there
right
you go.
There. Turn
10B. Yep.
10B.
So that is Xavier, and he was having an incredible race after a tough last season. And I didn't see a rider there, so hopefully he got up and ran away, but that bike was in the middle of the track. Yep, he looks like he's okay. So
Metric Devil Moto rider out of New Windsor, New York, Xavier Zayat, competing in the Superstock 600 class, and that was a race for the win in Superstock 600. So Nick McFadden was in 6th place overall, but leading Superstock 600. Xavier Zayat was in 2nd Michael Gilbert was in 3rd, and those riders are placed 6th, 7th, and 8th overall, ahead of Supersport competitor Daytona Anderson, JC Camacho in 10th spot. So red flag conditions, if you're new to the sport, they're going to check the track, make sure that there's no fluid on the track, get the motorcycle off the track. Red flag indicates complete race stoppage. So what we're going to do is all the riders are going to head back to hot pit. They're going to get those motorcycles parked. They're going to assess the situation, and then we will get racing regridded and hopefully finish up this race. There's 12 laps to go on our timing and scoring monitor, but they have to go back to the last completed lap by everyone, and they'll get that running order. So let's take a look at what happened.
Oh, he just lost the front. He just lost the front. Pretty simple crash. Lost the front in turn 10. Sometimes that can be one of two things. You could be holding the lever on a little bit too long, or could have just been letting the brake lever off, carried a little bit too much roll speed, lost the front. And there's a few bumps in there, as you noted earlier on in the telecast. There's a couple bumps there, but great to see him up and okay. And he'll be back hopefully tomorrow with us.
All right, we're going to take a break here on BN Sports. Stay with us. We're going to get this whole situation sorted out. And when we come back, we'll see what happens. We're going to regrid them, and we're going to finish this race. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Posh, Brandon was running 4th. This is your first season in this class, moving up from the KTM series. You're obviously, doing a really good job keeping up. How are you feeling right now?
Pretty good. I'm just looking to get back out there and try and get a little bit better of a start and try and get away with the front 3. That'd be good.
How big of an adjustment is this from a KTM? How hard was it for you to move up?
It's a little heavier and a lot more power, so it's a little bit more effort to go fast. But other than that, it's the same thing, gas and brakes.
How does fatigue play a factor in your fitness? Is that something that you need to concentrate on? Do you get more tired with the bigger bike?
I've been working really hard over the winter, so trying not to get tired, but definitely it's a lot more to handle over those laps, and it's more laps, so.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Thank you. Valentine's over here. Do you want to talk?
So they are over there working on that. That's Bill Cumbo on the right, looking down.
We're seeing the work. Dan Argano is still checking and feeling the track with his hand now to make sure that everything's safe and ready to go.
So we're still down here waiting on this red flag. I'm with our race leader and our pole sitter, Valentine DeBeese. You were leading the race, so what's your strategy for getting back out there and trying to do it again and finish off this race at the front still?
First of all, I tried to pull away a little bit, but I think with the new tires, I was able to follow me. But the race will be interesting starting from now. So now it will be a little bit more difficult. The track will be a little bit more slippery. So I will see. I will see how it goes, but to pull away, it will be something good to me.
Do you think it's a little bit easier for you to get back out there now that you've had the opportunity to rest here for a few minutes, get a drink of water, or would you rather just race the whole race straight through?
More they are long, better I like. So 30 minutes, it's already too short for me. But anyway, I'm always happy to race, so whatever, I will be racing as hard as I can do.
All right, well, let's see if you can get back out and stay in the front. Thank you.
How many times we go back?
5 minutes.
Is really a wonderful operation down here. John Ulrich is the leader of the team. He is the owner of the team. But Chris Ulrich, his son, is actually the one that directs the team. And Chris retired from racing, but you saw the two-up rides during the lunchtime.
Right.
Chris Ulrich is the pilot, and he takes members of the media and VIP guests for the ride of their life on the back of that GSXR 1000 Suzuki.
Yeah, that looks very, very exciting. I would watch it from here.
He retired. Yeah, I did that once, actually. You might want to say yes, because you will not forget it ever. I did it once. I rode behind.
It's a wheelie the whole way.
Well, they've had full-figured passengers before. They have a set of leathers that'll fit you. Many cows gave their lives for it, but no, I rode on the back with Steve Rapp was piloting the bike, who was a member of the team at that time, and Chris was riding on a second bike alongside. They used to do it that way to give you the idea, to give you the feeling of having somebody nearby and having, you know, passing and repassing and so forth. And because Chris and I are acquainted, they took me for a ride and figured I was an experienced rider, so they figured they could give me the e-ticket. And they did.
All right, everyone. As you can see, we're under red flag conditions due to a crash in turn number 10, which they're finishing cleaning up. And when we come back, we're going to get race action going. But we want to remind you that for all of you out there that are watching BN Sports Connect, feel free to do some social media for us. BN Sports Motor is what you're looking for on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. And you could, I don't know, take a picture of your screen with a selfie and let us know that you're watching and having fun. Don't forget, hashtag Atlanta MA, like MotoAmerica. So it's hashtag Atlanta MA, and that'll allow us to search for all of your great stuff and see what you're up to while you're watching your television or your phone or your tablet or your computer screen, as we're looking at JD Beach getting a little stretch, getting ready to get back on the race bike. As soon as things go here in just a couple of minutes, again, we're doing our television production that is going to air at 5:15 p.m. East Coast time. So just before we get things going, you'll hear us come back on and get after it. So thank you so much for hanging tight with us here. The first race of the weekend at Road Atlanta in Braselton, Georgia, and we'll get things rolling in just a few minutes. All right, so when they come. Road Atlanta in Brazelton, Georgia. It's the Suzuki X-Star Championship. Let's take a look at a quick replay of how we got to this red flag and why we're getting ready to go restart this race as riders are on their warm-up lap. Jason Pridmore, what happened?
Simple. Xavier just got in there and lost the front, and seen a bunch of people do this over the years. And for whatever reason, I think that last little kicker, when it went across the rumble strips there, might have just split cases or done something and put a little bit of fluid on the ground. And instead of waiting for these guys to get back around and find it on their own, they red flagged the race. They did the smart thing to do, and now Xavier didn't get to come back to the restart. But I think the thing I'm interested in here is JD Beach. We saw him kind of losing touch a little bit with those two guys. It looked like he was having to ride a little bit extra hard to keep up with them. Did they make any adjustments or changes to try to make that a little easier for him, Greg?
So here we go, riders regridding Valentine DeBees, now sitting on pole where he started the race. Garrett Gerloff in second, JD Beach in third, but it's Benny Solis who moved over as the 21 machine in fourth spot. So here we go, off and away, and Valentine looks like he got a pretty decent jump, but it's JD Beach on the 95.
And we said that before, that we're going to have to see if he can go, and Brandon slots into fourth there, and you see Valentine running wide. This is his spot, though, going up the hill. Will he be able to at least get by Garrett before they get into turn 2 and 3?
Yes. Wow, that was so close. Too close for comfort. But he gets away with it, and he gets into second spot. So now, did the crew do anything to JD Beach's motorcycle to get him more comfortable in this first sector? This could really play into JD Beach's hands at this point.
He does so well leading from the front, doesn't he? We've seen him do this time and time again, and Valentine doesn't want to let that happen. You can see him pull out of the draft. Is he going to try to do something sick? He's going to duck underneath him, Greg, as they go into turn 6. He's not going to run wide. You'll see him open up this entry just a little, fire that Suzuki out. Garrett had to check up a little bit there. JD, surprisingly, probably just slowed down just a little to try to work on that drive. Benny Solis has worked himself into fourth past Brandon also. Upper left-hand part of your screen, kind of towards the middle. We have 8 laps in this one after the red flag. So it's Valentine DeBees leading the way on that M4 X-Star Suzuki. But here comes the Yamaha. Boy, JD Beach had a nice line up the inside, but Valentine continues to just let that brake lever do its thing, just letting that thing go. Well, the brake lever is supposed to slow you down, and he has a tendency to just let it go, like you say. And look, JD's in.
Huge mistake.
That's a first gear turn. He's going to run off the track. He's going to lose a lot of spots getting back on the track there. That's going to promote Benny Solis up to third, Brandon Posh fourth, Nick McFadden, our leading Superstock bike with JC Camacho. Great start by JC. I see Michael Gilbert, Connor Blevins, Jason Aguilar, and here's JD Beach. He came across our line in 11th, Greg.
Wow.
Is he going to be able to charge back up and try to, it's going to be hard for him to catch these two, but maybe still charge back through and try to get a podium. And Valentine gets kicked up out of the seat. Now, one of the things you heard him talk about is, here we go, JD, this is going to be coming down the hill into the last corner. It looks like he catches a false neutral. He can't get the bike maybe to go into gear, and just ends up running him off the track there, and that's going to cost him a ton of time.
That is your championship points leader as he walked away with a win last week at Circuit of the Americas. So JD Beach leading the way with a perfect 25 after the first event is now got a lot of work to do if he's going to try to get on the podium. Luckily, Jason, that mistake happened early on in this race, and so there's not a whole lot of time, that although he does have a lot of riders that came by him.
He's got to have to go by a lot of people. Like you see him in the back. And here comes Garrett Gerloff. Now, Garrett's got to try to make this pass and try to move over to the right if he can. Nothing dirty, but see, he just cannot see. Valentine's going to continue to just go back down the outside. If Garrett can go by him a little bit sooner down the back straightaway, he'll be able to dictate the line. Although I think that Valentine will end up going back underneath him. So this is going to come down between these two guys. They've already got Benny Solis in third. Brandon Posh still sitting back there in fourth. But it's going to come down to a battle between these two guys for the win.
So here we go, Valentine to Bees. Now the fastest lap of the race set by Garrett Gerloff, the number 1 plate, at a 28.610 last time around. Up to the top of the hill. This is where Valentine to Bees has this thing dialed in as they go through the S's, or through turns 3 and 4. Now they're going to head down to the S's. And look at Garrett Gerloff, man. He's trying to figure something out.
I almost feel like Garrett learned something from him in this race. I mean, like when you follow a guy and you start to see where he's gapping you, sometimes you got to take note of that. And I think it looks like Garrett's done that. And he's just glued right back to the back of Valentine. He's going to want to, I think Valentine just kind of roughened him up a little. And I think that these guys are going to have to fire back a little and do some of the same type of thing. This is the key, though. He gets out of here so well. And, he made mention about the tires. These tires don't like to go through heat cycles. And you can see as they headed into 10 turn A a lap ago, he was able to just close that door. Now they're getting back down to that area now, but great camera work by our crew, getting a good tight shot of both our front runners. As they go from 10A and 10B, here we go again. He's let off the brake. Garrett just can't get quite far enough in front of him before they start getting into that tip-in point. He's got to get up alongside of him, Greg, far enough to where Valentine can't tip in, is what he's got to try to do.
And talking to Garrett Gerloff earlier this weekend as they head down to this last corner and head off towards the stripe, you can see +0 on Valentine de Bees' board with 5 laps remaining. One of the things I found interesting, Jason, was that Garrett Gerloff was telling me that when they were at COTA, he was a bit frustrated with Valentine, that Valentine wanted to race him up. He thought that maybe they could work together, but they're competitors. It's not like Garrett can walk up to him and say, hey, what do you think, Valentine? We shouldn't let JD get away. And what Garrett's trying to do is leave subtle hints in press conferences and subtle hints on Friday when they're together, like, hey, maybe we should work together. Now that JD is not out front and checking out, it's all up to these two, and Valentine is racing him very, very hard as Gerloff continues to show him a wheel down the back straightaway into turn number 10.
Yeah, it's hard to do that. It's hard to pair, especially so early in the season when things are the way they are. And Valentine is on an island. He's by himself. He's working hard right now. He's got to battle both these guys, so it's hard to try to make friends too hard right now at the beginning of the year. But that said, how about the guy at 6 who we saw run off the track, 28.4, that last lap by JD Beach. And this was the start of our race just now, and we saw JD get a great start, followed by Valentine. But Valentine's so sneaky as he goes up the top of this hill. He's able to just sneak under guys. But getting back to the front here, we're going to be looking for JD to keep coming through. That time Garrett wasn't able to get close enough at all down that back straightaway. Valentine's just doing the business right now up at the front. They come up over the top of this hill. Both bikes look incredibly stable. You go over there and you watch during the course of the weekend. Bikes just get all out of shape coming up over the top of that hill. Both these bikes look really good there.
Valentine de Bees now 28.8 to Garrett Gerloff's 28.9. There's a good look at the 35 of Benny Solis. This would be something incredibly special to come here to a track like Road Atlanta on a Honda CBR 600RR that is arguably aging, on a motor that's a little bit underpowered, on a motorcycle that is extremely well balanced when it comes to corner entry and turning. But all the while, Benny Solis is going, can I hold on with 4 laps to go, because JD Beach is on a charge at this point.
It's a nice story. It is a nice story.
But
this guy's going to have something to say for it.
If it ended this lap, maybe Benny Solis has a chance. But if we stay on this shot and we watch the 35 of Benny Solis, here comes the Yamaha, and this is one of the most critical corners on this racetrack, turn number 7. How do they get out and onto the back straightaway? Now watch a 2017 bike stretch its legs. Here we go. Back straightaway again. Back to the lead. Valentine de Bees now a little bit of gap over Garrett Gerloff.
He's able to pull a little bit of gap. That's a big key right now for me in this, is that just a matter of keeping the tires underneath you. These tires don't necessarily like to go through those heat cycles. When he said he'd much rather the race go the full distance rather than get stopped and go forward again, this is what he's talking about. You're going to see that the lap times of him have dropped just a little bit, but it hasn't affected J.D. Beach at all, who has now taken over third from Benny Solis in our background there. I can see them coming down the hill.
You can see it on your timing screen too. Our timing screen on the upper left-hand part, they go by sectors. Every time they pass a sector, it updates. So J.D. Beach now into third spot around Benny Solis. Brandon Posh still holding on to fifth place. Then the first of our Super Stock 600 riders, Nick McFadden, ahead of Michael Gilbert and Jason Aguilar on the 96. So Aguilar now 7th or 8th overall and 3rd in class.
There's a big battle going back there for second as Nick McFadden has literally checked out in that Super Stock class and pulled away from those other guys by almost 5 seconds. So he's left those guys behind, but this guy's put in a really great charge. You can see Benny trying so hard to go with him.
He's trying.
And Benny just did his fastest first split of the race. And, you know, these guys, Benny and his dad and Marco and Jason and all the guys down there, the H35 team, worked so hard to get this Honda where it's at. And, you know, they're the lone Honda in the class, working really hard. And, you know, we know Benny can ride. Here's Garrett again. He's got that draft. He's just got to get up alongside to where Valentine can't turn in, and he just can't get himself to do it.
So Valentine DeBees continues to lead the way. And I'll tell you what, Garrett Gerloff is going to school on Valentine DeBees. He's trying to figure out a way, but at this point, there's only a couple spots on this racetrack where it seems that Gerloff would be within striking distance. Coming down that hill, that last corner on this racetrack, though, if Garrett Gerloff can get side by side with Valentine coming down that hill, there's a good possibility that he might make a last lap pass, as we only have 2 to go in this Supersport Super Stock 600 battle.
He's got to make something happen, and he's got to know Valentine's going to just do whatever he can to go right back at him, and that's the thing he's got to plan for. All through this section here, Garrett's bike actually looks a little better to me than does Valentine's bike, but that's the section that he's been getting pulled away from a lot. But the Yamaha really looks strong on the edge of the tire coming down through our S's right now. But this is the spot where he's got to start to ramp up a plan. What's he going to do going down that back straightaway to be able to draft and do something with him down as far as drafting and getting into turn 10A?
Valentine.
I'll start here, Greg. Sorry.
Valentine DeBees, M4X Star Suzuki. He's that lead bike, number 53 out of France. Right behind him on the Monster Energy Yamalu YES Graves Yamaha is Garrett Gerloff, as Keith Perry and the crew look on in this incredible race. Not a lot of people would predict that a GSXR 600 Suzuki would be going head-to-head with a brand new Yamaha, but it's Garrett Gerloff now, gets close enough out of 7. He's going to take over the lead, but he knows Valentine DeBees is a fighter, and he's going to come right back at him as soon as he can. Let's see how strong Garrett Gerloff is coming down into this corner.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about, though. So the next move will be through turn 1 up to turn 2. If Valentine has anything, he's lost a little bit of a distance here, but he's just getting sucked right into the back of him now as far as the draft goes. They head into turn 1, and this is where Garrett's got to play a little bit of defense as we go into our final lap. He's got to prevent him from doing something as they go up that hill, looking back at J.D. Beach, who's distanced himself ever so slightly from Benny in our battle for third.
So the final lap now, and Garrett Gerloff continues to lead the way up through the tight stuff at the top of the hill. He gets a good drive coming down through the S's, and it looks like Valentine DeBees has lost a little bit as Gerloff is really starting to put the hammer down now on this last lap. He does not want to give Valentine DeBees any chance to pass him. And right now, if Garrett Gerloff can hold it together, it's going to have to be a Hail Mary from the 53.
It really is. And this is where Valentine's good, is getting out of here. He's got to absolutely clean it, though, Greg, to get on the back of that Yamaha and hopefully get it close enough to get in the draft. It didn't look like he was getting close enough to the draft. We're going to see as they pop up over the hill here. This is going 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th gear down this back straightaway. Right now he's trying so hard to try to get in behind him, but he's going to really have to let the brakes off. He's got too big of a gap to make up,
He needs to be closer to make a big move. Here comes Valentine. Oh, and the front end twitch from the number 1, but Valentine DeBees closes the gap. Now, it looked like Garrett. Oh, it's Valentine DeBees almost runs into the back of him. Here they come down the hill. Is Valentine going to get desperate and try to outbrake Garrett? No way. He's been so strong in that final corner, and Garrett Gerloff twists the grip to get to the checkered flag, and he will take the win here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, that's a great job by him. And how about J.D. Beach coming through? A little bit of damage control, finishing 3rd. Benny Solis, awesome ride by Benny, finishing 4th. Look at this kid. Brandon Posh finishes 5th with the leaders in sight. That's a big step for him. Nick McFadden go ahead and win the first Superstock race of the season with Jason Aguilar finishing 2nd. Michael Gilbert 3rd in Superstock. Daytona Anderson coming across the line. A very sick, by the way, Daytona Anderson finishing 9th. We're not seeing his best right now. He's been big battle with the flu, Greg. He got to the track late today and just been throwing up and not well. So how about this guy? Gets his first win of the season.
So Garrett Gerloff finishing 3rd at COTA. Now flip-flops JD Beach with the win. JD Beach, so Valentine DeBees now 2 second-place finishes so far on the season for a total of 40 points. Man, these points in this championship, I know it's early on in the season, but we've also seen championships decided by 1 single point. They're going to be very close in this championship headed into tomorrow's Supersport event. All right, so this race is in the books. Don't go anywhere on beIN Sports, because when we come back, we're going to talk to the podium finishers. Stay with us. Supersport Superstock 600 race is done and dusted, and Hannah's down in winner's circle with our race winner.
Down here with our defending champ and today's race winner, Garrett Gerloff. That was a very dramatic finish. You definitely had to fight for that. Valentine really made you work for it, but you were able to pass him and stay in front of him for the win. So talk about it.
Gosh, I was expecting a dive bomb, not gonna lie. I went as deep as I could in the last corner, like almost tucked the front, just trying to make sure he wouldn't get around me. But gosh, man, this feels so good. I was really struggling after getting 3rd last weekend, and it took me off a little bit. So glad to be able to get through some bike problems this weekend and do good in qualifying, and then go, keep up with Valentine, and then, pass him for the race win. It feels so good, and I've been wanting this feeling since about Road America last year. So it's about time I felt it again, and just gotta thank my team so much. Yamaha Extended Service, Monster Energy, Graves, Yamaha, Yamalube. Just an awesome team behind me, great bunch of guys, always working their butts off. Got to thank Core-Tech Leather, CD Boots, Shoei Helmets. Had a few crashes this offseason, and I'm still in one piece, so got to give it up to them, and just got to give all the glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So thank you.
All right, congrats.
Thanks.
There you go. Masterful race by Garrett Gerloff, man.
Yeah, he rode really well. I think he sat back behind him and watched some things that were going on, and this is the pass that we saw him try to make over and over. And you can see, Greg, he really closed the distance. He didn't give Valentine as much room when he went by him at the top of the hill, and he was able to really slingshot past, get over to the right like I was talking about early in the telecast. He's got to move over, and he's got to get that preferred entry into that turn so he doesn't have to keep holding onto the brake lever, and he was able to do that, release the lever, get a little bit of gap, and this was coming out of the last corner on the last lap. You're going to see him accelerating before he even gets across the line. He was happy to win that race.
Checkered flag flying, and it goes to Garrett Gerloff. What a performance after a red flag, able to refocus his energy and go to school on Valentine DeBees, and he will be celebrating that one for a few hours anyway, because we get to do this one again tomorrow. So Garrett Gerloff will take your victory here at Road Atlanta. Again, another great look down at the S's. They come towards us here. That's the camera in turn number 5. Absolutely spectacular view as Garrett Gerloff wins this one over Valentine DeBees. JD Beach is in 3rd place as we take a look at those results. And Brandon Posh, so Supersport racers fill the top 5 slots.
Yeah, top 5 are all Supersport guys, and we got Nick McFadden, Jason Aguilar, and Michael Gilbert rounding out your Superstock podium. Great job for Nick. And the other guys, Daytona Anderson, like we said earlier, finished 9th. Connor Blevins 10th, Shane Richardson all the way from New Zealand. We got to get a little bit more information on him. Braden Ort, who was racing World Supersport last year in 12th. Rafael Da Silva in his first MotoAmerica race, finishing 13th. Both those guys riding for Tuned. I saw JC Camacho run a little bit wide. He was in that battle for podium position. He ran a little bit wide in the last corner, and that's why his result is back there in 14th.
So good job. Final results from race number 1 as Garrett Gerloff, as you see on top, wins this one. 11 minutes, 54 seconds. We're going to take a break here on beIN Sports as the Supersport race is done. When we come back, we're going to get things going with Superbike, so don't go anywhere.
I'm here with today's 2nd place finisher, Valentine DeBees. Valentine, you were leading, before the red flag, and you were leading for the majority of the race, but Garrett was able to just get by you 2nd to last lap. How are you feeling right now?
I better like to win, but I was thinking that with all tire going into the 2nd race, I will be maybe a little bit faster than this guy, but finally was able to keep me, to stay with me, and yeah, he overtook me, and I had a plan in my head. I was thinking to overtake him down the hill, but I cannot keep the slipstream, so I was way too fast. So I didn't try anything because it would be stupid and maybe make us crash. So I still get second. It's fine, you know. I'm second in championship, and I'm looking tomorrow to beat that guy this time.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here with JD Beach, today's third place finisher. JD, the first half of the race before the red flag, you know, the lead pack got away from you a little bit, had the opportunity to restart, had a little bit of a runoff there, you know, still finished. You made your way back up to third. Tell us about what happened.
Yeah, the first start, we've been struggling all weekend with the bike a little bit. This definitely isn't my best track, but on the first start, they kind of got away from me a little bit, and then I ran them back down, and I was feeling good, and then we had the restart, and so I knew I had to do something because it was a short race, and just got into the last turn just a little too hot, and dropped back to 10th or something like that, and knew with how many laps I had, I had to push hard to try and get third, and I think this third feels just as good as the win last weekend, just because we really had to fight for it, and I think we got some stuff we can fix for tomorrow and hope we can do better.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Thanks, JD.
Thank you.
Class. We're bringing our three winners up to the podium as we speak. Making the presentations for our winners is going to be Dan Williams, Regional Sales Manager for Suzuki. And our third place trophy to JD Beach of the YES Yamalu Monster Energy Yamaha team. To our second place finisher, Valentin DeBeese from the M4 X-Star Suzuki team. And your winner, the team accepting the team award is going to be Keaton Hendrickson from Yamaha. And the first place trophy, ladies and gentlemen, your defending Supersport champion, Garrett Gerloff. Beach, you just outbroke yourself down there, but third may have been about as good as you can do. These guys were really moving.
I don't know what third's about as good I do. I mean, I did the fastest lap of the race, but no, it was just a mistake. These guys are riding great, and we just been we've just had a tough time.
Favorite section of Road Atlanta's got to be up the whole turn 2, 3, 4. Coming out of turn 1, leading into 2 and 3, all the switchbacks right there.
Hopefully these guys
it's a really
hard
part of the track, really
and
technical,
then
real
we
tight.
can just try and fight tomorrow.
I knew I'd get a rise out of you, JD. Congratulations, buddy. Great job. Fastest lap of the race. Valentin, almost, man, almost.
Yeah, I try to pull away, and I was thinking that after the second start, it will be a bit more easy for me. And finally, he was able to stay with me. And when he overtook me, I did a small mistake at the second corner, and I wasn't able to stay in the back of his bike, and so I was a little bit too far to overtake him. So it's part of my fault, so I will try to don't make this again, and this time beat this guy.
À demain, mon ami. Garrett Gerloff, I think the way I described it was you showed him that move, you showed us that move a few times, but you didn't show us all of it until the last lap.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to race with him for a little bit. He was riding really good and kind of pulling me in some sections, and I had to stay right there, and we both played that game before, I'm pretty sure, but no, I just, that last lap, I don't really know what I was thinking. I was just like, gotta pass him, and ended up making the move and try to move over because he was so strong on the brakes that I knew he was gonna try to get me around the outside, but pass held, and I just tried to ride the lap of my life, that last lap, because I was expecting somebody to come, stuff up underneath me, and No, it was a great race. Just super pumped. I was bummed after Coda to be third, and I really wanted more than that. I know that my team and that new 2017 R6 deserved more than that. So just so happy to get it back on the box, and just can't thank everybody enough on the team. Chuck, Ollie, Keaton, Rick, Ron, just everybody, Maurice. You guys rock, Gabe. And just thanks to all the fans for coming out, MotoAmerica for putting on the event, and just Shoei helmet, CD boots, Gore-Tex leathers, and just got to give all the glory to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Good job and well said, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, our 3 winners, Garrett Gerloff, Valentin Debise, and JD Beach. Supersport 600. And coming up is going to be the podium for our Superstock 600 category. We've got 3 more winners to present with their trophies and awards.
True fans don't move. True fans don't move.
Hey, thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.